Hey socialites, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Ariel. I do mainly beauty videos, fragrance, and lifestyle. So if those are the type of videos you enjoy, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and come join the family. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how I got this look. We're gonna call this the airport look. I don't know what to call it. It's a natural look. I showed you guys a picture of how I did my makeup. I can't remember what video it was, but I showed y'all a picture. I'll pop the picture in, and I was going to the airport and I loved it. It just gave very natural. There's no filter or anything on the picture. In natural sunlight, it looked great. So I am headed to the airport now, and I thought, let me recreate that look and do the same exact thing because it was given natural and not doing too much, even though we're using some steps, honey. So if you want to see how I get this look, then keep watching. So I've already moisturized using my Clinique Moisture Surge, which you guys should already know by now is one of my favorite moisturizers to use before makeup. So it's been on for a few minutes. I'm going in with the Cali Ray So Blown primer, just a little bit of this in like this area where I tend to see shine initially. But to be honest, with this, the foundation I'm using, I don't really even see shine even when I don't use a primer. Now, when I did that makeup, I did use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, but I already have that packed in my bag. So I'm just gonna tap it in those areas where I see my pores. And just the smallest amount here, because sometimes if I use too much of this primer, it really mattifies, y'all. I like a little bit of my natural oils to start to show through. It just, to me, it gives you more of a natural appearance. Skin is not naturally just flat and matte, so I don't mind seeing a little luminosity peek through. With this, you can mattify and have super matte skin all day, but you know, if you just want to control a little shine strategically, then a little bit of this goes a long way. So the last time I did my makeup, I noticed that with the Lancome Care and Glow foundation, which is what I'm using today, which is what I used last time I went to the airport, I could still see a couple of these marks through the product, even with concealer, which means I now need a color corrector. It's the Huda Beauty color corrector in the shade Papaya. And I just need a little bit, and this is gonna cancel out that darkness, that way we don't see it through our foundation. I really prefer not to use color correctors if I can help it, and just use like a concealer, just because it's an extra step. And you got to be careful because sometimes it peeks through. A tip is to sort of try to let it dry down a little bit. I'm going to mix it with the Smashbox Halo Glow. It's like a concealer pen. And I'm gonna let this dry down just for like a minute or two. That way it can really stay down. When we put our foundation on, we don't want this orange to mix around anywhere else on our face other than where it's sitting. So I'm gonna take a smaller blending brush to sort of blend the edges of the color corrector concealer little mixture that I just did. Usually with this foundation, I need about 1 to 1.5 pumps, but I always start off with 1. And usually 1 is enough, but sometimes when I have like discoloration, I may need like 1.5 to go back just in certain spots. So right here, and I'm in the color 455W in this, by the way. I'm 1 shade deeper than what I usually get. I ordered a darker shade not too long ago. And I love this shade, by the way. I think it's a perfect match. And I'm gonna blend with my Hourglass foundation brush. And especially because I have this color corrector on, I want to stamp it in because like I said, I don't want that orange to like migrate anywhere else. I just realized that the foundation has a scent to it. I don't know why I never realized that. Or maybe I forgot about it. It's like a light, soft floral scent. I do prefer foundations to not have a scent in it, but this is a really good foundation. It has skincare properties in it. It slightly plumps. When you wash it off, those skincare benefits that get into your skin really allow your skin to still look sort of hydrated and plump even after you wash your face, and it improves the appearance of your skin over time as well. So there are a few foundations in my collection that I have that do that. So what I really like to do is take what's left on the brush and just use that for the forehead, since I don't need very much coverage on the forehead. But the area where I have the color corrector, I'll have to go in with a tiny bit of product and just stamp it right over top. So what I really want to use is my Haus Labs concealer, just because it gives sort of that medium coverage, super natural, but it's packed up. So I'm going to use my Fenty We're Even concealers, which is a nice medium coverage as well. Serum-like texture that feels great. So the deeper shade, which is 400N, is what I'm going to use as sort of that transition. It's really close to my skin tone. And 385W is like a lighter shade, and I'm gonna put that like right in the inner corners. And I'll put a little here. For the forehead, I'll just mix a little bit of the 385 with the 400. So while the concealer is sitting, I'm just using a clean sponge. It's not damp or anything. And going over the foundation just to make sure there's no excess product there and that everything is meshed well and smooth, and sort of pressing it into the skin as well. Taking this little puff here, I'm going to blend the darker shades of the concealer first. And lightly tap right in the area where it meets the foundation. That way we don't have any lines of demarcation there. We want that blend to be seamless. And then we're gonna blend the lighter shade underneath the eye. So the same foundation brush, not adding any more product. I want to just blend just to make sure everything's well blended and smooth. And we're going to blend the concealer on the forehead. Same thing, going around where our foundation meets the concealer, just to make sure everything's seamless and that there's no lines anywhere. So the Stay Dew Bronze is what I used for contour, because this melts right into the skin and it just looks so natural. I know this shade seems to be deep, but the way it blends, y'all, it really looks good. It doesn't look too harsh at all. I have a little piece of hair right there, and I like to place it right about here. And it's sort of where the concealer meets the foundation as well. So it's further helping with the blend. And the Stay Dew Bronze, even after you blend it out and set it with powder, a little bit of that luminosity from this, like a little sheen, shows through the powder, which I like. It's like it looks a little radiant, makes your skin look healthy. And lately with my makeup, I've been applying the either cream bronzer or contour products on the sides of the forehead, and not so much all the way around. I may lightly tap over there with whatever's left over on the brush, but I hadn't just really been applying much here, if anything. Using my Real Techniques 200 brush to blend the Dew Bronze. And I'm also doing this in like a tapping motion as well. See how seamless it blends in? The Chanel Cream Bronzer blends really good like this too. Just like, see how that sheen, that's the bronze. That's why it's called Dew Bronze. Because it does give you that sheen. Trying to cover my edges so I don't get this in my hair. For the nose, I just want to barely tap. So I'm going in with the number 71 brush from Sephora collection. This is one of their pro brushes. You could probably guess what's next. You guys see the line of demarcation there? I could have done a better blend with that. Okay, so same foundation brush, no more product on it, just kind of what's left over. And we're gonna do the same tap where the bronzer meets the foundation / concealer. Just tap on that line so everything is seamless. So now I'm gonna set with powder, and I'm gonna use the Amicole Skin Melt Powder because it just looks so natural. And it just melts right into the skin so well. So open that up. This one's in translucent. I think it comes in a few different colors. Have it on here. You see how that powder is a bit splotchy. We want that powder to be smooth on here so it can look smooth under eye. However it looks on this puff is how it's going to translate on your face, y'all. So make this smooth, look down. There's no creasing yet, so the Fenty Wear Even is a good concealer. It doesn't really crease. You see how it just melts right in? And it's thin. See how it doesn't look powdery? Even though we had a good amount on the puff. And then over the areas that's in my smile lines. On the sides of the nose, I'm gonna kinda take it up. So you see, even though the powder touched that area, it still looks a little bit of that sheen. I love that. That's what the Dew Bronze did, but you can create that with other stuff, like with your blush or either with like a bronzer on top, but this is just what I did the last time. Before I started filming, I did go over my brows with a little bit of the LYS brow gel. It's a very light hold, so it's not one of those gels that's really gonna brush you up and give you the laminated brow gel look, like the laminated brow look. It's not gonna do that. It's just like a soft hold, which I'm fine with because my brows weren't super defined at all. It was just sort of a soft look to the brows. So I'm gonna lightly fill them in with my Sephora collection micro stencil. This one's in soft charcoal. Soft charcoal looks like, but on my brows it's not gonna look this deep because I just lightened my brows yesterday. So if you're wondering why soft charcoal may look a little deeper on you, it's because I've lightened my brows. So I'm gonna lightly fill them in. I don't want them too deep or dark. For concealer, I'm gonna use my Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer, which is a really good concealer, y'all. One of my favorites. And this is a concealer brush that I got in like a 3 or 5 piece brush pack from Shein. It came with multiple sizes, and I think this is the smallest out of the pack. They are so sharp. I really want to get like another pack of these because it just makes it so easy to, you know, if you're one that likes to sort of carve your brows. And the Huda Beauty concealer I'm using, by the way, is 6.5G brittle. Blend the concealer down on the lid so that it could serve as like a base for the shadow look. We're not going to put much color on the eyes though. And the same Sephora collection 71 brush that I used to sort of tap that nose contour is what I'm going to use to tap the concealer. On that picture, I didn't use a concealer that was this bright. It was a lot closer to my skin tone, but I have that one packed up. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of the foundation to sculpt the head of the brow to give me a better blend so it just doesn't look so bright under the brow, and see how that sort of tones it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of powder and just set the whole area, the lid, and lightly tap over the brow area too. My Juvia's Place Coffee Shop palette, and I'm gonna use a combination of like these 3 browns. And this is just a soft eyeshadow blending brush from Japanesque, and I got it at like Marshall's or TJ Maxx. So the lightest of the browns, I'm just gonna kind of work in the crease, sort of going upward towards the head of the Morphe Ariel brush. This one's the A20. It's a sort of flat shader brush that's a little bit fluffy at the same time. And I'm gonna mix those two deeper browns, which is this one and this one, a combination of these two, and place that underneath our crease blending brown that we did. We're gonna keep that sort of low, and we're just tapping it on. Now we don't wanna go up and disturb our crease brown. We wanna keep that soft right there. So we're gonna keep this below the crease shade, and since they're all browns, it just kind of meshes well. Where you see the colors meet, where our darker color meets our crease blending shade, we're gonna just kind of lightly tap slash blend, just like a little combo of like tapping it on, and because it's slightly fluffy at the same time, we can kind of blend at the same time too. But at the same time, we're keeping it below that crease color because we want it to be soft up here. So we didn't do any eyeliner with the look. I'm gonna put a little bit of mascara at the bottom. So usually for bronzer, like a powder bronzer, I go in with my Sephora Micro Smooth in Ebony because it's just like a hair darker than my skin tone, and it just gives me like a very soft natural. And how natural and soft the Say Dew Bronze looks, I kind of want to keep it like that, but we have to set it. So I'm gonna use my YSL bronzer, which is a little stronger than what I want. So I'm going to use a very light hand with this and something fluffy. That way it won't apply too much pigment. So I'm going in with a little bit, tapping off the excess. I'm starting closer up here instead of here. That way if I apply too much, I can sort of blend it away easier. And then softly kind of go down. So see, it still stays soft. And I didn't do any blush for the look. Usually going to the airport, I don't. I just do like a soft, you know, effortless, bronzy looking skin. And see how I'm like connecting it now? Now, if you notice right here on the brow, it's a little darker. That's like hyperpigmentation from like a breakout, but I don't want my brows to be dark, so I'm not gonna fill it in anymore. It's just that's what we're gonna have to work with. And then the excess, I'm just going over my nose. Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. This one is in 2 medium, and I use this to brighten under eye and to smooth under eye. And the thing about this is it still doesn't make the under eye look heavy. That's why I like this particular powder under eye. So you see the difference between here and here. It just looks a little bit more finished and polished. I do want my lid color to be a little deeper so I can see a little bit more contrast. So I'm gonna take that brown here at the bottom, but just a little bit, and sort of keep it low. See how that just gives it a little bit more of a smoky look, but still not too dramatic. For lashes, I'm gonna do a little bit of my Fenty Hella Thick mascara, and then these Juvia's Place lashes, Siwa, I wanna say, but they're just really thin, like super thin. The lash glue that I've been using lately, by the way, is Tadaki eyelash glue. It says super strong hold, and it does have a really strong hold, but then it doesn't make it hard to take your lashes off at the end of the day either. So I do recommend this. I found it on Amazon, and the cool thing about it is it doesn't have those harmful ingredients that a lot of the other glues have. So far so good with this one. The one that I'm in love with, that I've been using literally for like 6-7 years, I think it's discontinued because I don't see it in any stores anymore. But I think I have like one left, so I'll continue to use that one. But I'm glad that I did find this one because I like it. The only thing is with lash glue, I do prefer dark lash glue, and this one is like white, but it doesn't, I don't see any residue from it, so it does work. My Sephora Micro Smooth powder, this one's my skin tone, which is mahogany, and the other side of the fluffy brush that I use for bronzer, and I'm just gonna lightly set. I don't want to pack on a lot of color because this will add a little bit of coverage, and I don't want any more coverage. but I'm just gonna lightly set everywhere else. Now this part I usually don't do, but I'm going into the same coffee shop palette and use the brightest shade in the palette and pop it right in the inner corner. I'm gonna fill in the head of the brow with the same micro brow pencil from Sephora collection. I like to do this step after I finish all of my powders. That way I don't accidentally wipe it away, because sometimes when I'm almost done with my makeup, I'll forget to go back and do this. So I'm gonna do my LYS natural finish just because it's so long lasting, and it's probably gonna be another 6 hours, 8 hours before we make it to our destination. But either way, it's gonna be long lasting because this gives me no problems. For lips, my favorite lip oil, which is the Clarins lip oil in the shade 04. I wanna say the name of this shade is Papaya, and it just gives me a soft pink look. So this is the look. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below, let me know what are some of those products that you use to get the ultimate natural look. If you're new here, welcome. I would love for you to come join the family by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. 'Cause I've been where you are. You're too scared to show me love. 'Cause too fresh with the scars. Well, I don't have the answers.